Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh to our brothers and sisters in our international communities. I would like to introduce you to our broadcast called Seventh Word Broadcast. We are based in Somaliland, the city called Hargeisa, and with diaspora's returnees, holla back. Welcome to our show. Please enjoy yourself and let me show you what we got for you. Interesting topics. Fire! Holla back. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. We've all been here for many years now. And let's keep it 100. You've seen how Somalilanders are. From Samaran to all the way to El Gabo. You know, all the people living in Somaliland, not everybody's aside. The whole nation. They love the nation, they love the flag. Everybody on Somaliland is recognition. The opposite, you see what's going on right now in Mogadishu. Bismillah, Allah help our brothers, because we are Somali, they are people. But they don't have unity in their own tribes or Puntland. They don't have unity like we have. Why this country has been stable for 34 years? Why this country is not recognized yet? Because we have a lot of hatred going on. You know what I mean? We have a lot of resources, oil and gas and all of the other things. The neighboring countries don't want us to succeed because we are a unique story in Africa. But I just said about who we are and what we are and how far we came as our nation, Somalilanders, and every Somalilanders who live here. It doesn't matter what tribe they are, we're all one nation under one God, you know? So we came a long way. What do you think about that? Why our brothers next door don't really want us to succeed, G?
I think it's because of the Somaliland history. Somaliland has a rich history.
Mashallah.
And Somaliland has mentioned many times over and over, they took independence in 1960 as a nation.
As a nation.
And at the time, Italian Somaliland wasn't recognized, right? And because of Somaliland got its recognition
first,
right? That's how Italian Somaliland got also their recognition. To this day, they don't have a day that they were recognized. You know what I mean? We have a day that we united.
Yeah.
British Somaliland and Italian Somaliland.
We put them under our umbrella.
Exactly.
Somalilander umbrella. And we made it one name called Somalia.
Exactly. And another thing is, there's less tribes in Somaliland. There's.
We are closer related in them.
Not as far as being related, but there's a majority of the Somali tribes are in the so-called Italian Somaliland or previous Somalia, Italian Somaliland or Somalia, however you want to mention it. But majority of Somali tribes live there, right? So when you have less tribes, and Somali people live in communities and in tribes, so when you have less tribes, then, you know, culturally, you guys going to adapt the same type of culture. You know, although Somalis have generally the same culture, but there is some cultural difference in different. If you're from a different region, dialect, you know what I mean. So I think that's why.
Plus, they have also ethnicities. We don't have only one ethnicity, Somali. But they have other ethnicities within them as well. They have the Jarer, they have the Barwanis, they have the Ahmad. Well, different ethnicities, you know?
True.
So, completely different.
And don't forget, in the history, they got colonized brutally by Italy. We fight the British, and we got British protective. We started agreeing with them. They couldn't enslave us, they couldn't sell our people. Them ones got a little bit violated, innit? So we are different when we stand our grounds, you know what I mean? So from that history part aspect, as well as a bit of hatred, I always see, because we always look at each other, we strong. We fight together, we die together. Whereas Somalia, they Italy interrupted. Some of the soldiers were Somalis, fighting their own people. That would never happen here in Somaliland. The British, we all fight together against the British. Remember? And Burra was the second place in the whole Africa got bombed by airplanes because they couldn't deal with us. My grandfather was.
It wasn't Burra, it was Taleh.
And Burra, 1924.
They
got bombed.
Even Hamar itself, Mogadishu itself has a rich history when you talk about trade, when it comes to trade.
Chinese.
Not only trade, also as far as infrastructure and engineering. The Ajuran tribe,
was one of the smartest.
They had a huge
That was
impact.
50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Years ago, yeah.
So. And that's before the Italians came.
Correct.
That's before the British
Before
came.
the Western countries came, we had a trade of the whole goods from Central Africa all the way to West Africa. When anything goes to the east, it used to go through Mogadishu. Remember the Chinese fleet came, like 300 ships, 250 years ago. The Chinese guy was a Muslim as well. The biggest conqueror ever came, and they made a deal with Mogadishu. You know what I mean? And back in the days, Even the Sacs in Samaras used to live in Mogadishu. Whoever had a bit of knowledge and trade going on, used to be Mogadishu. The port of Berbera was too small in Sela. We always used to ship from Sela through Berbera, go down to coastal Mogadishu and take our goods to the bigger ships. You know what I mean? We was more unified back in the days, and that history is missing today in the books. You know, the history is totally lost, because in the end, if our people knew where we came from, what we do still today?
You know, a lot of things have changed in the past 3-4 decades, you know what I mean? And the Somali culture is definitely shifting, like you said, in a negative way.
Selfish way, I mean? No unity no more.
And the whole impact is, the impact that's happening among Somalis is bad governancy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You mentioned earlier corrupt governancy and stuff like that. But Somalis as a whole, you know, they have more similarities than differences, you know?
True. But we're not unified anymore, unfortunately.
That's the problem.
Where the Western countries are unified. Europe is together, America is together, Canada is together, Asia is together.
Yeah.
Where we are.
But remember, we're not Europe. We're in Africa. We're just a part of Africa. You know what I'm saying? A region in Africa. And this region always been a very important region, a very strategic region. You have the Bab el-Mandeb here. You're part of the Indian Ocean, the Red Sea. This always been the highway of the world. You know what I mean?
True.
East and west.
East and west.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So why we cannot benefit from that, my brother?
The problem with Somaliland is number one is recognition as Somaliland, right?
Look at Taiwan. Taiwan is not recognized. Taiwan re-educated themselves and became smart in something, building chips, technicians. If look, you're a father, we're all fathers. What we do is we educate our kids. Now imagine as a nation we educate all of our kids into one movement. It takes us 10, 15 years, brother. 10, 15 years and we switch up the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, Taiwan had one enemy, was China mainland. Taiwan came together as one nation, says, you know what, from the government, from the top it started, we need to build something specially so we can succeed. And if we unify, like our top 5, the big boy ballers, there's enough Somali ballers, if they put the money together and we build schools everywhere, infrastructure, and put curriculum in place, our kids be educated. Sun power, we have no electric. Well, 73 cents, how you can build industries? Remember the campaign? We was in the campaign. Everybody was talking about we need cheap electricity.
It's one of the highest in the world, isn't it?
It's the highest in the world. Yeah. Look at our petrol. How can you educate your kids, put them as a workforce if there's no industries available?
Definitely.
There's no hospitals. We have no healthcare. We have no schools. We have no running water. We have no farming. Like, where's our industries, my man? And where's our governance? Where's the people that we put in power to take care of that? This is what's missing, is unification. And the small people, nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about how I'm going to get $5 out of this guy today. How this guy going to pay my child? How Ahmed going to give me some petrol? How I'm going to pay my rent? But Taiwan is a great example. How a nation became a nation internally. And then the world respected them. Sorry, come back. I'm passionate about this.
Taiwan is a role model for Somaliland and any country like Somaliland that's trying to get recognition, right? Like I said, number one is recognition, obviously. And earlier we were speaking about competency. How competent is our government officials? You know what I mean? If the government officials are not competent enough, then it's always going to be a problem, because you have a guy that can't read and write English, but unfortunately he's a minister.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So now he has to hire other people to do his work for him.
Also can't read and write. They also can't read and write.
Yeah. And another problem is when people like us from the diaspora world come here and trying to fill that seat. You know what I'm saying? Trying to help even the incompetent minister.
Your competition. Your competition, brother.
He looks at you like, oh man, this guy's competition. He's going to take my chair tomorrow. So I might as well keep this guy away from me, get an incompetent guy, or a little bit competent, but you know what I mean? I fly through the safe zone. But That's the problem.
Okay, but
Competence.
what I don't agree with is recognition has nothing to do with being competent.
It does.
No, it doesn't, because recognition is a right we have, regardless of how competent they are. Is a right of a country that has accomplished so many things.
How are you going to
with the
fight for
stacks
it? International law.
yeah?
How are you going to fight for it? How are you going to fight for your rights if you cannot read and write, my brother?
The thing is, right?
No, but that's another point. But the point is, you should get recognition despite being
regardless of education.
regardless of education.
Okay.
What you do with that
Brother,
recognition
how are you
is up
going
to
to
you.
fight for it? How are you going to sit there in
But that's another point there.
How are you going to go to the international courts in London? How are you going to fight for your rights? How are you going to negotiate with the people who have the power over you?
But that's not the point he made. He said, should we get recognition if we're not ready for it?
No, the thing is, we wasn't even speaking about recognition. I said, number one problem we have is recognition. Number two
When
is
we get recognized.
lack of competency.
Okay, but you said earlier, I think...
and Seven made a good point, because if you don't have competent administration or cabinet, how are you going to be able to debate for your recognition? You need a the world does not care about your rights. Russia didn't care about the rights of Ukraine when it invaded, right? Yes. And there's many countries like that going on around the world. Look at Israel and Palestine. There's many Palestinians dying, right? And the world right now is all about interest.
True.
You have to show the countries have to be interested in your country. And Taiwan, like I said, is a role model for countries like us because they were able to prove that they have interesting things in their country, right?
Technology,
computer chips. So America sees an interest there, and the European Union sees an interest there, and you can only do that through competency.
Correct.
Because when your administration is not competent enough, then brother, what's going to happen is the corruption is just going to increase. The lobbying is going to increase because you have a guy that's probably not that rich and he's not competent, but he was able to get on TV for a certain party and scream his lungs out and say, oh, this guy is the sickest guy, or the best guy, this candidate is the best candidate. And that's not how you build a government.
Should come on merit.
So competency is the main thing. You know what I mean?
But the point I just made earlier is because earlier in the show, in the episode, you said, you spoke about, are we ready for recognition?
Yes.
That's why I asked the question I did. Because you asked, if recognition comes, are we ready for it?
Yeah, because even if recognition comes, you have to be competent for that recognition.
I agree with that. But I said recognition should come regardless.
You made a great point. The West, America,
I agree.
Europe,
Other than that,
America and Europe have an interest. The Taiwan interest became what they did for themselves. The tradition, the church and everything. What is our interest? Our ocean and the strategic location that we have.
Yes.
That's our interest. Do we make the best out of our own interest?
No.
Not own interest. Like the interest for them, they have for us.
Last night, let me put an example, a good example. Last night, me and Idris were talking about your cousin, and then we have a coastal guard, Coast Guard.
Yeah.
But Coast Guard is something just that protects the coast, right?
Yes.
Like literally on the shore. Whatever happens on the immediate, part of your water. We always sell that we are in a strategic place because of the ocean, the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb. So we and his cousin were asking us, why don't we have a navy? We have a Coast Guard, but it's not the same as a navy. All it takes is a few $1 million. We can get a naval ships.
Let me give you a story.
No, let me finish. The navy, when you have a navy, you can protect these waters and be an actor that partakes in
protecting the ocean,
protecting this Gulf of Aden. So we promote our waters, but we don't partake, which does never make sense.
You know what? We got given money. There's budgets given you don't even know about. Like there's certain people in the government have fishing licenses, previous government before, and then the big vessels come, take our fish and shoot off. Self-interest.
True.
Again, it starts from the top. If we had self-interest, we will call America. Like now, you have Europe come here, for example. I met them in Manzour last year. Europe come here. Europe come trained our Coast Guards. Not just police here. Why this Coast Guard general got changed recently? Others came, they didn't waste their money. Where's the boots? Where's the quad bikes? Where's the jet skis? Where's the helmets? Where's, you know what I mean? And that's again the problem that we have. Europe came to help us to train our, protect and train our people. And
Oh, you mean
protect our
everything's sold off? Sold off?
But that's the problem.
Is that what you mean?
You just hear what I said. The general got sacked recently, Marine.
Okay.
Okay?
And I'm talking about a few $9 million Navy vessel.
Okay. Again, if you don't...
Wishful thinking,
if you,
yeah?
Okay, I have a question. If you don't fix your own house, would your neighbor fix your house?
No, never.
But if you start fixing your own house, your neighbor might give you a hand.
That's exactly the point I was making.
You know what I mean?
The world is interested in Somaliland because of the region that's at, but it's not interested in how competent it is, like as far as governments see. You know what I mean? When you hear about America wants to recognize Somaliland, they always bring up Berbera Port. Berbera Port is just a piece of land that was given to you by God because you were born there. Or, you know what I'm saying? That's piece of land of your country. But the main thing is, what do you do with your resources? Whether it's land, sea, minerals, oil, it doesn't matter. Whatever resources you have in your country is whatever you do with it. You know what I mean? If you have gold and you don't have the brain to sell the gold or to melt the gold and turn it into a necklace and then resell it, then
So
then
what
it's
you're
just
saying is
the world, the gold has no value.
So you're
You know
saying
what I'm
that's
saying?
what the world cares more about than with...
Yeah, the world cares about what are you doing with your resources. We have gold.
Do they really though? Because in the view I have from the world is that they care more about a stable country.
Are we not stable? We are very stable.
No,
actually.
I'm not
When it comes
saying
to
that. I'm
part.
not saying. What I mean is, he said they care more about what you do with your resources. I don't care. I don't think they care about what we do with our resources, because that's not.
They do. They do.
How so?
Okay, let me make an example. We have oil in certain areas.
We have what?
We have oil, another oil, crude
Oil, yeah.
high quality. To now, as Somaliland, we could find agreement yet.
Exactly.
Why? The big guys and the small guys don't understand each other. They don't know how to connect the dots. Why I'm getting somewhere, I respect the small guy who lives on the land. Okay? I don't use the government force. I have a license. The general of Somaliland is my uncle of the police. I can take the 50 police officers today. I don't do that. Hatch up in my little RAV4, squirt, go on site, take some money with me, sit them all together, and let's talk. How are we going to work together? How are we going to achieve to change something? What do you need? Schools.
Exactly.
Water. Okay, I didn't even flat out one stone yet. I will give you schools and water. They have a guti, a could of aid each village.
Board.
But I paid them salaries. I changed their lives immediately. And now they say, yo, we with you, man. God, we with you. That's how you do it. And the government does not do that. They don't bring the little guys into the big projects. You know what I mean?
Who's the little guy?
The little guys are the people who live on the land.
Community.
Oh, okay. The community. Yeah, so-
Without the communities, there is no success.
True.
Exactly. The thing is about stability and peace is good, but 90% of the world is stable and peace. Like we cannot be happy or that's just not enough. Stability and peace is just not enough.
Okay.
You have to make some type of progress. That's just step one. That's just step one.
Education is missing.
Education
these villages are
is missing. There's so much stuff missing. You know what I mean?
See, the reason I don't understand is because you see a country like Equatorial Guinea where they have a guy in power for so many years, and all the resources is mishandled like it's a third world country.
They do it by force.
Huh?
You know, Somalilanders, one thing I love about our people, brothers, you cannot bring the army to them. They say, yo, that's mine. You cannot. The people will fight you. But you know what you should do is set up schools. Set up universities. Let them get educated and understand the benefit of the world.
Yes.
They didn't even see the word yet. These guys run around with camels and goats, my nigga. You know what I mean? If you're educated, you become, oh, wow. I can actually work with this company and make $2,000 a month. With $2,000, I can build my house, marry 2 wives, take my kids to school. Wow, this benefits me.
Yes.
But now you're not educated. One of the big guys, big rich man comes to you, yo, this guy's going to take your money, your mountain, where your generation live, and you get nothing from it. They lie to each other. And okay, this guy's come to eat me alive. Okay, I will fight him. This is the mindset of our people. I've been through it life to life. You know what I mean? It starts again, good governance, education, bringing our people's lives to life.
Yes.
So if I bring you water to your house, and say, I like Guuleed.
Yeah.
If he brought me water to my house,
Yes.
like K knows, you know K? Our brother sitting over there.
Behind the scenes.
Great example. His family's farm, I got a camp where I do the animal feed. Back in the days when I started. These people who lives there, they could not believe it. This guy came all the way from outside the country, cut these trees, produce animal feed and give us for free because the NGO paid me for that. Okay? They said, wow, great. And when the project stopped, 3 years later, I came back. I have a mining license, I'm doing a survey. Wow, that's the guy he made out of garwa prosopis something. That he made out of garwa prosopis for us spaghetti. Then now he's going to make meat out of the mountains. We work with him. All day we end up with water in both villages. The NGO paid for that, but I insisted it. I raised that money, okay, from my reports. They said, we trust this guy. He helped us once. He's going to help us again. Yo, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. The previous president's son could not even move around in the areas. Ask my man. The previous president's son, his son could not move in the areas because he came by force with 20 police officers. You don't do that. You know what I mean? Manage your people from the bottom and the top.
I think that's why Somaliland has reached this far, because Somaliland people in Somaliland as a whole, they stand up to corruption.
They stand up business.
Yes.
It's not corruption. They don't stand against force.
They don't stand against force and corruption as well.
The corruption is not part of it because the little guys don't understand it.
Yeah.
But he knows one thing, where he sleeps every night.
Exactly.
He knows where he sleeps. He knows his tribe, his sub-tribe. He knows his border, his mountains. He knows his sand. He knows his little farm. And if you step on his place where he sleeps on it as a government or as a normal businessman, he will not have that. He don't care about you and your government. He don't give a twos. He said, you and your, you know what they call it? The shot you work on me doesn't work on me. Go back to your little palace where you're from. This is my place.
Somalis, especially people in Somalia, are very territorial.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
So all my mining operations are my sub-tribes and my Hawala, my brother tribes. I can only work with my tribe. But how are we going to go away for this without educating ourselves?
Exactly.
Because we are one nation. We should be one nation. Right now, we're tribes only. Let's be honest to each other. It's coming so many fly, yo, you're going to be regular now. This is our political conspiracy. Politics is here. He loves politics too.
Mashallah.
I prefer more life and swagger. I don't like really politics. You know why? I'm too honest with politics. I shoot bullets and bullets always fly back. Again, respect to our new government, respect to our new president.
Definitely.
He got a big agenda. He got a big
Definitely.
view and vision for our nation.
Definitely.
Great advices he put in place. Some of these ministers will get changed soon, and inshallah, some of the ministers are great, by the way. They're doing amazing work. Not the whole government is bad. Let's be real. We just talk about so much negative.
Plus, we have to give it time.
Listen, we're just covering up
the last 34
every
years.
government that ever existed in Somaliland. Generally, we're not talking about a specific administration.
We're not a newspaper.
Just the culture that's been.
We're not a newspaper. We're not a newspaper. We're individuals.
It's all opinion.
All opinions.
Yeah, it's all
just our view on the world.
Our view on the world. Even the top 5, they did a lot for the country, but you always can do more. I'm not sweating on you. I'm not shitting on you. I just
They
want
did a
more
lot for
from
the
them.
country. They did a lot.
They did a lot. We have not to forget they have a lot of things, but they can do more. And we talk about recognition, and recognition is a factor to them, especially the banking sectors and electricity and all the import. And, like, you know what I mean? Like all the big healthcare. Like again, if we don't talk about it, if we don't challenge each other, how are we going to ever get better? Like God feeds me. Whatever is written for me in my lifetime is written by God. It doesn't matter what man stands in front of me.
You'll get your destiny.
I get my destiny.
Between two mountains, brother.
My man, you already know that, and I don't fear nobody but God and my parents.
Literally, you're between two mountains with your mining company.
And it's my people.
That is your people.
My people.
So,
you know what I mean? So alhamdulillah. So, I have good understanding with our government, alhamdulillah. And even when I drink tea with them, I always push them. I'm too honest, my nigga. I don't know how to shut my big mouth.
We can do this for hours, but we have to wrap it up.
Let's go.
It's been a pleasure, Abdirahman and Adnan, inshallah.
Adnan, yeah. I keep calling you Adam, sorry, man. But Adnan, political response, 7 polls. You
already know.
Abdirahman.
Future Hildaban.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Yes.
Brother. Get
We're
used
going
to
to
the
talk
face.
about that in the next episode, inshallah.
This is going to be, it's going to be amazing. Time's coming, inshallah ta'ala. Pleasure.
More to come, inshallah.
7 broadcast.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, brother.
Love, nothing but love. Thank you for your
next
time,
time.
brothers. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.